In the afternoon, several black SUVs abruptly screeched to a halt right in front of the entrance to Park Place. The doors opened, and the first to get out was a young man dressed in bright-colored clothes. With his handsome features and lofty demeanor, he carried an imposing presence. Following behind him were a group of martial artists clad watching their departing figures. Stefan shouted out, "Inform Mrs. Harmon immediately." In eccentric uniforms, each of them emanating an intimidating air with their controlled breaths. It was evident that they were far from ordinary. "This is the Harmon family's territory. All of you, leave immediately." The two bodyguards by the entrance warned them. "Too loud." With a wave of his hand, the two bodyguards flew away as blood spurted from their mouths. It was as if they were hit by a speeding car. The group of people then strutted into Park Place. In the hall, Natasha was enjoying tea, and a copy of a financial report was in her hands. These past few days, because of the invention of Immortanol, business was going very well for the Harmon family, and the company's stock prices were skyrocketing. If this continued, Natasha would be able to replace Edwin's status within a year and a half, becoming the first woman to be the wealthiest person in Swinton. "Ms. Harmon, enjoying your day?" "I see." She suddenly heard someone by the entrance and looked up, finding the group of eccentrically dressed men. Leading them was a young man standing right at the center. "Who are you?" She raised her eyebrows. "Hummer. Joshua Hummer," he smiled faintly. "So it's you." Natasha narrowed her eyes. "Mr. Hummer, don't you think it's too much for you to barge into my residence like this?" "Is it? I don't think so." With an ambiguous smile, he continued. "Ms. Harmon, I'll go straight to the point. I'm here for three things. First, Immortanol has caused considerable loss to the Hummers. Hence, you are to hand over the formulation. Second, my sister was humiliated some time back, which brought shame to the Hummers. All thanks to a bastard named Dustin. Get your men to bring his head to the Hummers' residence as an apology, and for the third. It's simple. All you need to do is be a guest at Hummer's residence tonight." Joshua spoke lightly like a master giving orders to his servant. Even the usually composed Natasha lost her cool when she heard him. "Joshua Hummer, did you hit your head somewhere? You want my man's head? Who gave you the courage to speak that way?" To spout unreasonable demands as soon as he walked through the door, this guy was too much. "Natasha Harmon, I'm not negotiating. I'm giving you a chance. Know your place. Do you think you are in Hummer territory?" She slammed the table with force. Instantly, a huge number of bodyguards came out from different directions and surrounded the Hummer entourage. "Ms. Harmon, what happened?" Stefan asked as the leader. "Mr. Chapman, we have a few uninvited guests at home. Kindly show them the way out," Natasha ordered coldly. "Yes, ma'am." Then, he glared directly at Joshua. "Dear guests, you are not welcome here. Please leave." "A pity." Joshua smirked. He suddenly disappeared like a ghost and appeared in front of Stefan. Stefan's pupils dilated. He was about to make a move when he realized he was already held in a chokehold. The next thing he knew, it became hard to breathe and his limbs turned limp. He wasn't able to muster an ounce of energy. "The audacity of a low-level martial artist like you." "Kneel!" Joshua lifted him single-handedly and slammed him to the ground. An explosion-like sound echoed through the room, and the floor cracked open, leaving a crater in its wake while Stefan's incapacitated legs sprayed out blood. "Scram!" Joshua delivered a kick, aiming straight at his core. With a grunt, Stefan was thrown a few meters away. He violently crashed into the wall, and blood spurted out of his mouth. That kick had dissipated Stefan's internal energy. "How insolent! Get them!" Natasha was furious. Under her orders, the bodyguards took out their batons and charged. "Ants," Joshua muttered in disdain. With a wave of his hand, a surge of energy that could move mountains and seas burst forward and rippled toward them. Before the bodyguards could reach him, they were sent flying by the impact and fell to the ground. During that moment, groans could be heard all around. An external manifestation of energy? Have you achieved divinity? A seriously injured Stefan locked on in horror. Countless martial artists dreamed of achieving divinity. Skilled low-level martial artists could split open rocks and lift thousands of pounds of weight. However, compared to divine-level martial artists, their differences were like the sky and earth.